बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम। अस्सलाम वालेकुम। डॉक्टर मुनव्वर हुसैन आपके पेशे खिदमत है। इस वक्त कश्मीर के स्टेटस को तब्दील करने की एक बार फिर कोशिश की जा रही है और ट्विस्ट आया है इंडियन मौक़िफ़ के अंदर। और इंडियन मौक़िफ़ का साथ दे रहे हैं उमर अब्दुल्ला, जो कि चीफ मिनिस्टर हैं इस वक्त इंडियन ऑक्युपाइड कश्मीर के। लोगों ने उन्हें वोट दिया कि वो चूंकि 370 और 35A के ऊपर बयानात दे रहे थे, लेकिन अब जो उनके बयानात आ रहे हैं और रिसेंट जो उन्होंने इंटरव्यू दिया है उसके अंदर भी एक ट्विस्ट नजर आती है, एक टेक्निकल पॉइंट नजर आता है, जिसपे डॉक्टर मुबीन शाह साहब ने बड़ी तफसीलन अपने सोशल मीडिया अकाउंट्स के ऊपर लिखा है। हमारे साथ मौजूद हैं डॉक्टर मुबीन शाह साहब। आप टर्की से हमें ज्वाइन कर रहे हैं। कश्मीरी नॉन लीडर हैं, बिजनेसमैन हैं और श्रीनगर के चैम्बर ऑफ कॉमर्स के आप प्रेसिडेंट भी रहे, और फिर इन्होंने एक मजा भी चखा हुआ है इंडियन जेल्स का। डॉक्टर साहब, पहले तो बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया, आपने वक्त दिया। डॉक्टर साहब, ये ट्विस्ट क्या नजर आ रही है आपको इंडियन पॉलिसी के अंदर रिगार्डिंग कश्मीर?
देखिए सर, जो द ट्विस्ट विच हैज कम इन दिस लेटेस्ट वीडियो आई सॉ of Umer Abdullah, he says that the questioner asks him that when 370 was supposed to be in the constitution temporary, why you are creating so much noise that 370 and all that. He says he said to the questioner, yeah, no, if you take that 370 as temporary, but the thing was why it was temporary. It was temporary because then the questioner asks him, why it is because till you people, become merged with India and all that. जो उनकी story है, the Indian version. But he says, to this extent, he says, right, that, there was supposed to be a plebiscite to decide about the future of the Kashmiris, had to decide what to do. So till then he was okay. Then he said to him that the person said to him that when you see, you can actually give a link of that interview on your this thing. So he says to the questionnaire ki no, subsequently we did make it permanent because of elections and all that, but both the things had to be made permanent. That means the 370 also was supposed to be made permanent, and our joining with India was also permanent. So this is a person like him talking like that, giving wrong interpretation and wrong things to tell his people as well as the world that what India is saying is correct. इंडिया तो वो ये बोल रहा है ना कि मतलब एट द मोस्ट वो इंडिया के पीपल आर सेइंग टू देम दैट ओके यू गिव बैक देम द 370, द स्टोरी फिनिशेस देयर, बट दैट इज नॉट द केस. द इंस्ट्रूमेंट ऑफ एन एसेशन जो उस वक्त इंडिया ने ऑन विच दे आर बैंकिंग ऑन, फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल दैट इंस्ट्रूमेंट ऑफ एसेशन में हिस्टोरियंस से दैट it was never signed by the Maharaja before the Indian army landed in Kashmir. It should have been signed by the Maharaja before the landing but it was signed after it, after the Indian army. That means India had already occupied Kashmir when Maharaja signed it. So this is one aspect. But the other aspect is that even when the instrument of accession was signed, the Mountbatten, he used to be the Governor General of India. Okay, so he accepted that. He accepted that accession, but with a certain conditions. The Governor General of India writes in his acceptance letter that that once the situation becomes normal, we will go back to the people of Kashmir so that they will decide what they want. So this is a very important aspect which he leaves it out. He leaves out. It was, you see, that was done then subsequently stamped by the UN Security Council. That the people of Kashmir need to be asked and under UN supervision. It is not that India does elections and that is a sort of a stamping that people of Kashmir have decided. People of Kashmir are fighting right from 1947 on that only, that we want plebiscite and that should be done under UN supervision. It cannot be done by under Indian army and all that. How will that vote be considered as the correct vote? Not there will be so many cases of then coercion, and which has happened in all these elections. Up till now, all the elections have been, except for one or two elections which have been sort of without any coercion. All of them have been under coercion up till now. So the question is, and in one case on which he is banking, because his grandfather became the that was prime minister of Kashmir, and he won all the seats because they did not allow anybody to stand against his candidates. So, because he also, Sheikh Abdullah, in 1947 to 53, he was the prime minister. And it is clear, it is said, and it is, all historians write, I was not born that time. But our father, our family, they would say that nobody, Sheikh Abdullah had also, there was no gundas, sort of what you call in Pakistan, gundas and all. They would not allow anybody to stand up against the candidates of Sheikh Abdullah. So, what is that? So that is why Kashmiris have been all the time telling that we want to decide, and that has to be done under UN supervision. And Pakistan, as well as India, agreed in the UN Security Council in 1948 that this will be done. Now, there were certain conditions which were not kept by Pakistan, which were not kept by India. So that is a different story. But the thing is, basically, it is there. Now, what had to be negotiated? Negotiated has to be how to do that plebiscite, nothing else. Basically, there were plebiscite administrators appointed by the UN Security Council, but they were not given any headway. Either Pandit Nehru at that time put roadblocks, and finally he said, no, we are not going to do, because we are not going to do this at all, because once they strengthen their occupation, they felt, and this is what today is the same situation, that they have strengthened their occupation, and they are saying now, it has been all along our part. It has no, there is no question of ye hamara otut ang hai. So, but a person like him, who is, got his vote basically on Article 370 and 35A, should tell the truth. Should not these people should not tell partial truth. They should tell full truth. The full truth is this. Now, I subsequently, before this also, I wrote on social media that Pakistan has in its constitution Article 257. It says that Article 257 says that once the Kashmiri people decide that whether they want to be choice between India and Pakistan, which are as per the UN security resolutions, then we in the Pakistan constitution says that we will give the choice to Kashmiris to decide whether they want to be our part or be independent. Now, take other side. India had been telling us from the beginning that we will give you this. That is what a 370 was basically at that time negotiated by that, so that at a certain period of time, we will decide whether. But you can't say that, we have decided, Kashmiris have decided to be a part of India just by participating in elections, which is for local administration. And this has been actually dealt in the UN Security Council. So this issue of having local government has been dealt. And it has clearly said in one of the resolutions that this will not affect the main issue of plebiscite, because this is for local administration. So that because the place has to be run, and there has to be a local administration for these. So what Pakistan is doing on the other side, India is also doing. But at the same time, Pakistan in its constitution has this point, while as now, I attended some webinar recently in which a lot of Kashmiri leaders were there. And some of the Kashmiri leaders very, very, correctly told me during the interaction that, do you believe Pakistan will stick to its constitution? That what is happening. Let us be very frank, because they said that, presently we can't believe whether Pakistan will stick to its constitution, because it is not at this point of time. There are so many instances that within Pakistan it is not sticking to its constitution. So then we have as a body, as a group, who are fighting for Kashmir's right of self-determination, we have gone to this action that we will want that unrestricted right of self-determination. How that is worked out, for that negotiation need to be uh, done with both India, Pakistan, and the Kashmiri leadership. So this is the basic. This is what I am very clear in my thoughts, and this is that should happen. Then only, you can see the world is changing very fast. World is changing very fast. Last time when we had an interaction, you are specifically asked about India and America, and I told you at that time, if the listeners and viewers will see that video, I said at that time that America is going to be America first after Trump. There is no, and this is what is happening. Now you can see, you can go, and I can send you the link also from Indian sources, that their economy is tanking. Their Sensex has gone down. They say 100,000, 1 lakh crore of money has been lost in the stock exchange after Trump has come, in the Indian stock market. What does that signify? That signifies that the Indian public is very wary about what is going to happen. And this is where I am very, very 110% sure that time will come. India has to negotiate the status of Kashmir with both Pakistan, China, as well as the Kashmiri people. And if 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 they don't do that, then they have to succumb to the American hegemony in the region. They have to succumb. They will become a vassal state of America. They will not have any independent foreign policy. Their sovereignty will be compromised. It will be more compromised than any other country. To tell you very frankly, I will tell you, because I am a businessman. I know how much economically India is depending on America. This what tariffs Trump is saying, that same tariff, same tariff. You can understand, even before Modi went to America, he changed the tariff to certain items. Why did he do that? It is because he knew that we are wrong, that India is wrong, that they are taking advantage of America. And when you see the speeches of Mr. Trump, when Mr. Modi was there, he was invariably telling number of times that they are the biggest country which puts maximum tariffs on other countries, and that is what he's correcting. And once he corrects that, I don't think India can survive. India cannot compete. India cannot compete, and its local business, local trade, everything will go shutters, because investment will not. And now, I was hearing one analyst from India. He says that actually there is very, very low investment now in India coming in because of this. People are withdrawing. You see, the biggest investor in India stock exchange is the foreign banks. They are withdrawing. They are taking it back to America, because America, under Trump, is going to be America centric. So and if India does not do what it has to do, if it balances it off, they will get into a big problem, and they have to then set right their relationship with China and the region, and that is going to be blocked because of non-settlement of Kashmir. Let us be very, very clear.
डॉक्टर मुबीन शाह साहब, आपने बड़ी तफसील के साथ बताया। आपने ये भी बताया कि दुनिया के अंदर तब्दीली रूनुमा हो रही है और अमेरिका फर्स्ट की पॉलिसी ट्रम्प साहब लेके चल रहे हैं, और इसी वजह से 1 लाख करोड़ का नुकसान हुआ इंडियन स्टॉक मार्केट में जब ट्रम्प जीते। और इंडियन इकोनॉमी बहुत ज्यादा डिपेंडेंट है अमेरिकन इकोनॉमी के ऊपर, और अमेरिका की जितनी भी इन्वेस्टमेंट है अमेरिकन की, वो वापस अमेरिका लेके जा रहे हैं। लेकिन सवाल ये पैदा होता है डॉक्टर साहब कि आखिर उमर अब्दुल्ला के पीछे क्या वो इरादे थे, आखिर वो क्यों मिस इंटरप्रेट कर रहा है इस 35 और 375 और 35A को, और पीछे इसके रीजन क्या है, आपके आपके नजर में इसका क्या क्या वजह बन सकती है?
See, my reasoning is this thing. Number one, as he has been telling, even in his interviews and all that, that you see they have seen that without the central government being on their side, they cannot survive. And particularly now, where being in a union territory, everything is under their control. He is a वो क्या बोलते हैं म्यूनिसिपैलिटी का इंचार्ज भी नहीं के उतने पावर्स भी नहीं हैं चीफ मिनिस्टर को. There is no, he has come openly in the public and saying that, all the officers, the officers who matter are appointed by the central government, because they are IAS and IPS. IPS is Indian Police Service and Indian Administrative Service. So they are transfer, everything, promotions are up with the central government. And once it is not a state, union territory, it is completely controlled by the governor. So even if he wants to do something, he cannot do. So now he is trying to be on the right side of the central government. But in the process, he is finishing the dignity of Kashmiris, whatever it was. And there was one, I saw a video of Mr. Lone, who was supposed to be very close to BJP. And he was very open on it. He said that somebody asked him that, what do you think about the resistance in Kashmir? He said the resistance is alive. He said, how? He said the vote against BJP was against actually Delhi. It was not that it was for love of Umer Abdullah. It was against Delhi. Because people showed that they are not concurring with what India has done in Kashmir. So this is what is, there are, sort of these things, which Sajad Lone Sahab wo the, he's also a very important leader of the Indian Kashmir. So he told like this. So my point is this thing ki ये सब अब कर रहे हैं, उसको क्या कहते हैं, बूट पॉलिश कर बोलेंगे आप, या whatever word you can use. So Umer Abdullah is doing that, but unfortunately whatever work they did or they tried to work on is all lost by this type of answers and everything. This is what is the situation at this point of time.
डॉक्टर साहब, अभी रिसेंटली, यानी अभी की जो रिपोर्ट आई है द इकोनॉमिस्ट की, उन्होंने जो डेमोक्रेसी का जो इंडेक्स है दुनिया में, वो बताया है कि दुनिया के अंदर फुली डेमोक्रेटिक कंट्रीज का अगर रेशो निकालें तो वो 6.6% बनता है. पिछले साल ये 12% था. तो जब डेमोक्रेसी डिक्लाइन कर रही है, लिबरल ट्रेडिशंस डिक्लाइन करते नजर आ रही है, जमहूरी नाम नेहाद जमहूरियत तो मौजूद है लेकिन जमहूरी रवायात और शराइत मौजूद नहीं है, तो इस सूरत में आपको लगता है कि जो जमहूरी हक है, राइट ऑफ सेल्फ डिटर्मिनेशन का कश्मीरियों का, वो भारत उन्हें देगा जब दुनिया का माहौल ये है कि जहां जमहूरियत का जो ट्रेंड है अब वो सिर्फ 6.6% रह गया?
नहीं, आपका कहना दुरुस्त है इस लिहाज से, लेकिन एक बात ये भी है ना कि मतलब इंडिया इज टेकिंग एडवांटेज इन द वर्ल्ड बिकॉज ऑफ व्हाट? बिकॉज इट्स द बिगेस्ट डेमोक्रेसी. Once they say that it's not a democracy, the whole thing will again change for the detriment of India. It will be for detriment of India. अभी आप देखिए ना कि जो भी कंट्री कन्वर्ट हो जाती है from democracy to the other thing, they suffer economically, everything. The other countries which are having the power at this point of time, that is, let us say, Europeans or even the America, they at least at certain point of time, question all these things. And it certainly reflects then in the economy. Certainly the first thing which is hit is the economy, because this is where they know that these countries can get hurt. Whoever does something like this. Abhi dekhiye na, even if it goes further down in the world, अब जब लोग ये देखेंगे कि बाबा उसको भी because of democracy ये हो जाएगा, वो हो जाएगा, तो then they will start changing, So this is what our hope is. Our hope is like that कि मतलब नहीं देखिए फिर तो the fight will go on. Which I shared on social media. I sent to some Kashmiri Pandits also, who are in New Delhi. So they are not harping on that you about this thing. They are saying that there are conditions to this right of self-determination. The conditions क्या थे सर कि Pakistan had to withdraw its forces in 1947 and India had to reduce its footprint of army, whichever army was there. India also did not reduce and those people also did not. But that is not a fault of Kashmiris. That is not a fault of Kashmir, that they should be not given that right because those two countries did not fulfill the conditions. It is not it is sort of it is not a genuine thing to do to Kashmiris based on this premise that कि साहब उन्होंने नहीं withdraw किया और हमने भी नहीं reduce किया. So both of them countries were to be blamed. So but finally end of the day it is still pending the right of self-determination. Now we are saying so that, you see why I am saying this unrestricted right of self-determination, so that the people of Kashmir will get that right, whatever they want, whether they want India, whether they want Pakistan. In 2008, this was one of the reasons that India put me behind bars, was that in 2008, when we got all the resistant leadership together on one platform, and this was the slogan on which they came together. Because or else you could not have Yasin Malik, Gilani Saab, and Molvi Saab on the same platform, because all the three had different ideologies. Gilani Saab was that Kashmir banega Pakistan. Yasin Malik was saying that independent. But this right of self-determination was the one thing on which they agreed. And if you go back and you see those videos, so those interview, there was an interview from Barkha Dutt with Mr. Gilani Sahab after in 2008 specifically, and she asked him, "What do you think?" He said, "No, there's right of self-determination." So no, she said, "No, what about you in person?" He said, "I in person would like the Kashmir to become a part of Pakistan, but I will go what." Kashmiris in majority, if Kashmiris in majority think that we are better with India, I will at the most migrate from Kashmir. This is a leader who is considered an iconic person on both the sides. But he also realized the thing which divides us, which divides the Kashmiri people. So that is why he also agreed.
डॉक्टर साहब आखिरी सवाल ये कि इस सारी सिचुएशन में जो कश्मीरी लीडरशिप बाहर मौजूद है आप समेत, क्या स्ट्रेटजी आपकी हो सकती है मुमकिना तौर पे, ये जो उमर अब्दुल्ला ने जो बयान दिया है, जिससे कम से कम मौजूदा कश्मीर की हुकूमत और प्लस जो सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट है इंडिया की, उसके इंटेंशंस वाजे होते हैं कि आपकी उसको टैकल करने के लिए स्ट्रेटजी क्या है आपके पास, हिकमत अमली क्या है?
देखिए साहब, अभी तो ऐसा है कि नंबर वन, we have joined together, but at the same time, to tell you very frankly, within the diaspora also there is this, pulls and pressures that what should we go up for. So we are now trying to promote this unrestricted right of self-determination, so that there is all the factions come together. All the factions come together, whether they want Pakistan, whether they want independence, whether they want even whether they want to be a part of India. So because basically, end of the day, nobody is suffering. The majority, the Kashmiris are suffering. Whoever it is, whether it is a Kashmiri Pandit, whether it is a Kashmiri Muslim, whether it is a Kashmiri Sikh, whether it is a Jammu person, they are suffering. And what they had tried, see, this is another gentleman just met me here, Kashmiri Pandit also is a very big shot in America. So he was telling me that, what do you think, after 2019? I said, do you think that there is a change in Kashmir? That have they forgotten about the issue? No, it is not going to be forgotten. Even if there is 1% Kashmiri it is going to remain till there is settlement, as per the liking of Kashmiris. This is my point.
शाह साहब बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया, आपने वक्त दिया। नाज़रीन, आपने डॉक्टर मुबीन शाह साहब की गुफ्तगू सुनी। कोशिश तो है कि सारे कश्मीरी एक प्लेटफॉर्म पे आए और राइट ऑफ सेल्फ डिटर्मिनेशन की बात करें। फिर मेजॉरिटी जिस तरह का फैसला करती है, फिर मैं समझता हूँ किसी भी लीडरशिप को एतराज नहीं होगा। लेकिन सवाल ये पैदा होता है कि राइट ऑफ सेल्फ डिटर्मिनेशन हासिल करने के लिए फिल वक्त क्या हिकमत अमली कश्मीरी लीडरशिप के पास है, सवाए इसके कि जब तक वो अपने सरों को जोड़ेंगे नहीं, कोई खास मौसर हिकमत अमली बनती नजर नहीं आ रही। कश्मीर की जो मौजूदा हुकूमत है वो अंडर प्रेशर है, ना उसके पास पावर है, लेकिन इस प्रेशर की वजह से और तारीखी तौर पे जो ट्रेंड है उमर अब्दुल्ला की फैमिली का, वो भी भारत की नवाज हमेशा नजर आती रही है। लेकिन फिर उन पे भी ये सवाल उठता है कि उनका सियासी मुस्तकबिल क्या रहेगा, कि अब उनको चांस मिला, उस चांस के बावजूद अगर वो इंडियन सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट की लाइन लेते हैं, तो उस सूरत में उनकी सियासत का मुस्तकबिल क्या ठहरेगा, क्या कश्मीर उनको दोबारा वोट देंगे। डॉक्टर मुबीन शाह साहब की आपने गुफ्तगू सुनी, आपके कमेंट्स का इंतजार रहेगा। डॉक्टर मुबीन शाह साहब और डॉक्टर मुनव्वर हुसैन को इजाजत दीजिए। अल्लाह हाफिज।